We are done with Raw, so
Yes.
we're going to get to AEW Dynamite, which took place from Chicago or Champaign, Illinois, coming out of...
Oh, yeah, no, hey, Champaign, not Chicago. Champaign, Illinois is not Chicago. And I don't know if everybody in Champaign, Illinois was in the building and they still only had 2,000 people, maybe. I don't know. They couldn't sell out a men's room of giving away free condoms.
Oh, come on now.
It
was a respectable crowd for a Wednesday night in...
Oh, come on. The regular
Midwest.
crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to Tony's billions of dollars. How big is that building that they were in, and how many people did they have, if you're going to make statements like that? It looked like a piss hole in a snowbank.
Let me find out.
They had the lights turned out. It looked like they were giving the fans a massage. They had the lights turned so low.
The pause, I guess, is you waiting for me to have the answer.
I'm
looking for the
you
answer.
to have this shit at your fingertip.
According to WrestleTix, the estimate is 2,053 tickets distributed. The State Farm Center, let's look this up. By the way, market-to-market comparison.
And you know, and you heard what happened afterwards, after the TV taping was over with. State Farm told Tony Khan to find a new neighbor.
All right, we stop it. The capacity is 15,500.
15,000 people in the 15.5 capacity and 2,000 in the building. Hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, Heart.
Well, Mr. Gene Pitney.
No, that was Ricky Nelson.
Who wrote it?
Well, that's up for debate.
Gene Pitney.
Well, apparently that's not up for debate.
You like Ricky Nelson?
Did he live in a town without pity?
This is taking another one of those turns, ladies and gentlemen. AEW Dynamite in Champaign.
Well, it's better than the turn that they took. I think somebody's been back on to Champaign because out came Plumber John Moxley. And I want you to try to... I will tell you what I saw, and then you try to tell me what it meant. Moxley comes out to brand new music. It's not Wild Thing. It's not in any way particularly peppy or easy to dance to. And he walks out his street clothes. He looked like a normal person for once. But he was just moping around wandering around the arena. No Wild Thing, nothing to pump people up. The announcers are trying to verbally shit themselves over how unexpected and different this is than we've seen Moxley before. And as he wanders into the ring, Tony Schiavone gets in and tries to say something and ends up saying, well, how you doing, buddy? Everything okay? Like he just found his best friend crying on the couch because his wife left him. Or say, how you doing, buddy?
What a surprise. Okay? John Moxley's here. He just came in the building. John, what do you have to say? Not, hey, how you doing? Are you okay? What is that?
And Moxley stared at him like everybody else because they were dumbfounded at Tony saying that. But Moxley stared at him. And then apparently they're saying on Twitter now, I don't know if you've heard this, that he is ripping off a gimmick or a character or apparently even this whole promo from some goofy underground movie from 30 years ago.
Well, we have the audio.
Well, I wrote down a quote. I'll say this first. When Moxley is looking at Schiavone, his story basically is he's been doing a lot of thinking about things that need to get done. And he's looking for somebody to have a conversation with. And this man is nothing like me, but everything like me. And then he says it's Darby Allin. And it's about time, Darby, that you and I had a talk. I won't be hard to find. Okay, they've never had any interaction, have these two ever? Can you think of it?
I don't recall any, no.
And then Moxley stares at Tony and looks at him and says, this is not your company anymore. And Tony Schiavone acts stunned, and the fans' reaction is silence and puzzlement. And you said you had some audio. So
Yeah.
can you augment what I've just said so that we can try to get to the bottom of this, which is apparently where it came from somebody's bottom.
This was tweeted at us a few times by people. This is from an account called Video Damned, or Video of the Damned, and the @ is @Video Damned. Wild reference last night by Jon Moxley on AEW show, the Australian cult classic Romper Stomper, 1992, channeling Russell Crowe's breakthrough performance as Hando. Let me play a little audio. You'll hear it go back and forth between Russell Crowe in the movie and Jon Moxley with Tony Schiavone. Russell Crowe kind of has a Jon Moxley look in this film as well.
I'm going to tell you something. I want you to listen to me, okay?
I'm going to tell you something, okay? I want you to listen to me.
This is not your country.
This is not your company anymore.
So there it is. What do you think?
I think that only AEW could figure out a way to blatantly steal something and steal the worst shit that you could possibly find. And how is this in any way going to apply to anything that Jon Moxley has anything to do with, or Jon Moxley's personality or history or whatever the fuck? Or did he just see a cool movie while he was sitting home drinking a bit of the bubbly and say, oh, I had to do that. That'd be tough. That'd be, what is it he says? Badass.
Badass
Dope. You should always think of the word dope when you think of Moxley.
Dope on a rope. Let me ask you this about all this stuff here with Moxley. Did you, before we go forward, because I know you fast forward through parts at various points, did you see the segment with him later on in the back?
Yes. Okay. What was it he did? Help me. I remember.
Well, he walked upon here. Two of the security guards.
Oh, yes, the security people. And then, his new friend also. Yes, I remember that. Well, I wasn't going to spoil it for the people.
Okay, well, I just spoil it. People have seen it already, but...
it's already spoiled.
I just wanted to make sure you saw it.
It was left out in the sun a long time before we started talking about it.
This is not your company anymore. No references or insignia on his outfit of the Blackpool Combat Club. A lot of rumors that fans are stirring up, or a lot of people at least talking about it, so that it was trending a little bit. The idea this could be the intro of Shane McMahon leading a stable of, I guess, Raw After Dark competitors. Remember, what was it? Fight Club? What was the Raw Fight Club segment?
It was, yes, it was the underground shotgun.
Underground. Yeah, something.
Under the ground.
Again, the idea this is not your company. All of a sudden, Marina Shafir and Moxley are Moxley's latest MMA-themed group, or whatever this is. Any thoughts on the idea this could be Shane McMahon entering the picture as... And, is that something to do? The idea of having Shane McMahon doing some kind of invasion angle. Is that the best thing to do for buzz right now for AEW, if you can get him?
No. Well, this doesn't have anything to do with Shane fucking McMahon. And, again, I guarantee you, Moxley watched a fucking movie while he's been off for the last 2 months doing who knows what with who knows where. And now he's got some brilliant fucking idea of how to translate this from the silver screen to the porcelain throne of AEW. And Shane McMahon is not going to be involved in this. That would be there would be a completely different preamble if Shane was going to be involved, which he's not gonna be. Jesus Christ, people.
I thought it was Moxley's best promo because he was serious and it was quick and to the point, even though there was no point. Until I realized he was literally doing the exact same word for word.
Yes.
Performance even. I mean, just the same, grabbing Tony Schiavone the same way.
And it wasn't Tony Schiavone's company to begin with. Unless Tony's the secret owner.
What was Tony's way of saying hello to him? That was so weird.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on. I wrote it down. It was, hey, how you doing, buddy? Everything okay? Like he was talking to a wounded dog.
He should have punched him.
Yeah, you okay now, Tony? Anyway, let's skip over some backstage bullshit. Hangnail Adam Page versus Ishii. You know I counted, Brian. Go ahead, ask me.
How many times,
were there?
How many times did they do the forearm?
At the bell, they stood in the middle of the ring and exchanged 85 fake forearms that didn't land, and neither one sold. Now, I'm not saying there might have been a couple potatoes in there by accident. Just by odds, you have to land something, but this was the most. And then they did 18 chops the same way and went to the commercial break. What in the actual fuck are all these guys thinking? Can't anybody say to them, why are you doing this? It looks like shit. It's phony as fuck. Even if it did look good, you're doing the same shit that everybody else does. What the fuck is the matter with you?
Well, the other thing, too, specifically with the men involved in this, and notwithstanding what they did in the promo afterwards, if you're trying to build up Adam Page, why is he going through multiple commercial breaks with Ishii?
17 minutes. 17 minutes just for this match, the entrances in the match, and through 2 commercial breaks with this, again, odd-looking little man from Japan. And then he beats him with a buckshot lariat. What the fuck? And then we're not out of the woods yet. Because then now Paige has beaten this fucking guy. And then here comes Swerve and Nana. And they have a long stare down, followed by a long discourse. Who the fuck is the heel here? What is... Swerve is mad that Paige got involved in his match at All In, but he didn't do anything. Did I miss something? He came over the rail, security grabbed him, kicking and screaming away. He didn't hit anybody, did he?
No, I mean, he was fired up. He jumped the rail. They got him away. And then the next time we saw him, he wrestled for 17 minutes against Ishii.
So Swerve is mad you got involved in the match. And Swerve is calling Paige a petulant little child, which he is, for his temper tantrums. But they are applauding Swerve Strickland and chanting Swerve's house and agreeing with things he said about Paige. Wasn't he just a heel on Saturday?
I think technically he's in some bizarre way a heel here, but I'm not sure. But I thought around this point in time, Adam Page better say something and better really fire up at him because he's getting his balls cut off. This can't happen again. And I'll let you finish telling what happened.
Well, he fired up. He screamed at him, "You're a piece of shit. You broke into my home. You couldn't beat me on your own 3 times in a row. You needed Nana. Then you needed Nana and Cage. Then this, but it...
He got the fans with him, though. That's the thing. If it had ended with the Page promo,
yes,
it would have been one thing, but he got his balls cut off again.
Well, that's the thing. He fired up, and with Page, a lot of it with the screaming, it's too much because it's like he's trying too hard. He's having a heel fit, but he got the people with him. And he said he wanted Swerve just one-on-one. And then Swerve said, "Oh, so Nana and Oli, you want to lock them out?" No, he never said those words. That's a very odd thing to say. Well, in that case, let's have a steel cage match. They just instantly made that leap. Instead of saying, I want to let Page build it up. I want to get you in a spot where these other stooges can't interfere. But Swerve brought up the cage, so I don't know, maybe Page forgot. I don't know what's going on. But like you said, if it had ended there, but then Swerve went back and started giving a very calm history lesson of their issues, and then said, I went back to your house and I saw you taking your pregnant wife to the hospital. What? And he told this story. You can't win anything because you're so focused on me. And it went so long and sounded like a conversation in a library. And then he fucking just, told Paige off again. Like I said, cut his nuts off again. And Paige just walked out without saying anything.
Yeah.
But that was another 8 minutes of bliss. So we had almost a half an hour of Hangnail and his various issue with match and promo. Jiminy Christ.
Yeah, they had the moment there so he could walk away strong for once, and instead he just every time starts like, I saw your wife. Everything is so cuts to the bone. And then the babyface or the heel or whatever
he just slunk out.
Just walked away.
But who is who? Who are we supposed to like? Anyway, I know who you like. Jamie Hayter versus Harley Cameron.
I think
what happened
Jamie Hayter's
to
very talented, yes.
What happened to Ruby Soho? Did she run away?
She got pregnant.
Oh, that's right. Who do they suspect?
No, they know. She knows. It's what's his name?
Apparently you don't know.
Cool Hand Angelo Parker.
Oh, good Lord. So they lose one of their top girls from a job guy's insemination process?
Will you be nice? Why are you saying anything? What made you even bring her up here? What is the problem?
Because they used to be in the group.
What group?
Right? They were saying that Jamie Hayter was in the thing with, it was Jamie and Britt, but Paige was an outcast with Ruby.
And Tony.
Well, see, all these girls are interconnected in some kind of way. But anyway, the best thing about this match, there was two things. Number one, the big sign that said Meltzer fears Cornette across from the hard camera. And number two, it was short. Jamie Hayter won with a clothesline. You want to flesh that out any?
There's really no fleshing out. I like the way still it happens again when Jamie Hayter comes out. Her hair bounces with her robe. It's kind of nice. But other than that, she's one of the most talented women in the company. So hopefully they do right by her. And that's that.
Her hair bounces because she uses Prel. Gives her extra body. Let's see. Okay, at 8:51 p.m., I'm going to skip over Jericho speaking to Roddy in a brutally fake fashion. But at 8:51 p.m., here comes MJF, and I'm thinking, how are they going to stretch this to 9 o'clock to get the boost, right? Because they're hauling out the big guns here. So MJF comes out. He's in a suit. He's somber. He's in pain. He says, I've got a headache. My neck hurts. Shut up or I'm going to beat up every single one of you. And I think he could. He had him outnumbered. But he's lost his ring. He's lost his title. He's got 2 herniated discs in his neck. And none of you had my back. That's what so he denounces his American citizenship, except for Plainview, Long Island. Rest of it sucks. And he denounced the fans, all he's done for them and this company, and, called Osprey a circus act. There wasn't really enough people to make a lot of noise, but he was trying, right? And he said, it's not over with Osprey. And then he switched to Daniel fucking Garcia. And he starts screaming, if you ever show your face, and Garcia comes from behind and gets all over him and got a front face lock on him and choked him out. It's just like, it's an insult to the Brooklyn Brawler to say this, but if like the Brooklyn Brawler came out and gave Steve Austin a fucking stunner, and then he went to pile drive him but dropped him and thought better of it and took him to the corner and put him on the top turnbuckle. And MJF is just having to sell this fucking nobody like he's goddamn death. And he puts him on the top and he's going for a super pile driver. And security hits the ring. Did you see Daniel Garcia jump down and fight security?
I did.
It was a fight, all right. If I'd have been two of those guys, I believe I'd have had words with this son of a bitch in the locker room. There were 5 security guys, and Garcia was trying to punch each one of them as they came in the ring. The punches were so wild. Out of the first 4, his fist missed the guy's face or head twice, and on number 5, he potatoed the guy in the face with his forearm, trying to throw a punch. Go back and watch it in slow motion. I was mesmerized. Named for the great Anton Mesmer.
Are we seeing too many schlubby-looking, well, I shouldn't even say that, just clearly indie wrestler security guards on these shows lately? Like, way too many?
And if you go to any goddamn other event in the world, you either see jacked up security guards, or you see elderly security guards, or you see some fucking guy that looks like he don't give a shit, looking like fucking Jack Albertson and Chico and the Man security guard. You don't see these young 22-year-old, reasonably fit guys that suddenly know how to be thrown over the top rope. But it's in every segment now. First, never had any of them. Then it's in every segment, but 5 of them can get beat up by one woman.
And they're always pleading. They always have their hands out. No, please, no.
Yeah.
No, no. What security guard does that?
Every security guard that I've ever seen attempting to handle a situation was a little more fucking firm about it. They were almost rude in some cases. But anyway.
That wasn't the end of this after they...
No, it certainly wasn't, because then MJF gets Daniel Garcia from behind and tries to punch him. But Garcia, he's on his back and he's covered up. He's got his hands over his fucking head. You can't hit anything. So they all look fake. All the fucking guys are doing this. The heels try to get heat on you, and they're moving and they're flinching and they're covering up. And so they're just windmilling in the direction of the fucking guy. If you did that to many of the top heels in the territory days, they would grab you, spread your fucking hands out, and punch you as hard as they could in the goddamn face for covering up on their shit, which is A, telling them that they're rotten workers, and B, not giving them an opportunity to do shit that looks good to get their shit over. But that's just me. And then MJF gets heat on Garcia, and all the 5 of the security guards took 1 punch each from Garcia and had been knocked out. I know one of them for real. Yes, I know. And then suddenly, as MJF is going to fucking put Garcia up on top or whatever, Garcia makes a comeback on him and tries another pile driver off the top, and now security and Chris Daniels stop him. And they pull MJF away. And I wish I could say that was the end. But Garcia got the microphone. They're letting him speak. And he said he pawned the ring for a ticket to London, and he tried to do a promo. He wants to ruin MJF's life. It's his fetish. And he wants MJF at All Out, which might be renamed Awful at this point. And he also wants to break MJF's neck, and he threw the mic at him.
That would really hurt him if he broke his mic.
Broke his mic. That would be a deadly, fatal illness. And there was more pulling apart, and MJF agreed to the match and then left, and Garcia runs to the back after him, and the security guards follow, and as they're going in the tunnel, one of them trips over his own feet and falls flat on his fucking face and almost trips Chris Daniels on the way back. And also
wait for them to leave. That was
yes. And they were all done at exactly 9 p.m. So I'm thinking, well, what now are they going to start at the top of the hour? But let's go back and think about this. Fuck. MJF and Garcia? Danny fucking Garcia? Isn't that, again, booking malpractice, trying to use, again, one of the only guy that's got some value on your whole roster as far as ratings and main event match potential, and you're trying to use him to get a hopeless cause. Oh, if you took a tank of helium and shoved a tube up Garcia's ass, you ain't gonna get him over. Not right now. Sorry. What the fuck are they doing here?
And the rumor is that maybe he re-signed the contract. WWE was after him, and I hate to do a throwback to this, and we'll talk more about it later with another contract, but kind of what you said, maybe WWE is offering everyone.
Well, no, Garcia's contract is coming up for renewal. Let's say, what do we want to offer him? Because fuck, it's monopoly money to us at this point. So what do we want Tony to have to pay to keep him? I'm just telling you.
Well, we'll see, but, I think the problem is they want to elevate him. They need to elevate somebody. He's had time off. He doesn't look like he's picked up. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It looked like his shoulders were a little bigger, so he picked up a little size, but the promo isn't there, I don't think, and, again, I'm kind of sick of MJF being used to make other people.
And at some point, I mean, he's not Merlin the Magician, is all I'm saying. But anyway, speaking of magic tricks, to make people watch this next thing, you would have had to use some type of magic. An 8-man tag team match, Pockets and Mark Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly and Hook against Jericho, Big Bill, Little Brian, and Roddy Strong at 9 o'clock. And they did multiple entrances, Hook, and then Pockets and Briscoe and Kyle and Roddy and the Jericho goofs. I'm thinking they're trying to kill 9 o'clock. And this went through 2 breaks. And it was every indie wrestler's wet dream of a match where everybody got to do everything. And then Hook choked out Roddy for the finish, and then they all fought, but Taven and Bennett came out and beat up Hook, and then security came out. They're having a busy night. They barely had time to get the smelling salts from when Garcia knocked them out with 1 punch each. What'd you think? Yeesh.
It went forever. Hook got beat up again. I think there are certain people that don't help the show grow, whether fair or not. Jericho's been proven that he's a net negative right now on this show, and it's just so lame. It's awful. Roddy Strong, I think people are kind of sick of him. He's been all over this show, and I don't know. And Orange Cassidy, I think everyone's sick of him except for the 2,000 people in Champaign, like that kind of thing. The most devoted. Mark Briscoe's being, I think we said it before. Mark Briscoe does these promos and he's surrounded by all these other random people. It doesn't help him. It's not like Jimmy Valiant going in there and doing promos with other people. Everyone was over. When Jimmy Valiant showed up in the middle of a Ric Flair promo, Ric Flair was over. They were both over. Mark Briscoe needs to be over because that's a guy who could have a good singles run outside of the Ring of Honor Championship, whatever that means now. But they constantly have him surrounded by Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
Men and women, just anyone.
Random multi-man matches. You can't, again, take anything seriously with the mascot involved.
His promos have become the pay-per-view pre-show of Wednesday night. Just get everyone in there. Everyone who needs some time, get in there for that promo. And Renee Paquette is just hamming it up and has like 6 different people she has to react to all at once. Just focus on Mark Briscoe.
That's a safe shot every time. But speaking of shots, I think I need one. Some type of inoculation after watching the next segment. Were they bordering on the lewd and the vulgar here with this Mercedes Mone segment?
Well, again, we criticize her acting and her fake personality, and this was all of that on display and so much more, clearly written by the Emmy Award-winning Jennifer Pepperday. This was awful.
Alexandra Pepperday.
Was that it? I forget what it was, but this was awful. I remember what this was. No. This was awful.
So Mercedes is in the back having a party for herself, apparently, with Camille there and two other random people that we don't know who the fuck they might be. And Camille looks fantastic. I feel so sorry for her. She's stuck in the middle of this shit. So there's a party room set up and there's 4 people on fucking camera, and then Private Party come in and say, well, you can't have a party without Private Party. And one of them tries to hit on her by saying, and if this is the way that he talks to women in real life, apparently he's never done this before. And who are the baby faces here? You've got this obnoxious, self-inflated, important, egotistical bitch with her bodyguard. And here come these 2 assholes in, and one of them is making all kinds of lewd comments about her red dress would look good on top of him or whatever. And then Camille gets in that guy's face and shoves him back. But here comes Cody with that random fucking belt he's got. And apparently they pay him millions of dollars a year just to stand around in the back and look stupid. That blank look on his face. He comes in, and he's going to take up for fucking Mercedes and faces off with Private Party. And he tells her how to say, bye-bye bitches in Japanese, which apparently is sayonara bitches. Who are we supposed to like here? What is going on? What just with this segment? Why would any of this be a good idea?
Yeah, what are Private Party thinking? Obviously, with Okada and Mercedes in there, this is the We Fleece Tony party. They don't have contracts like that. What the hell are they doing over there?
No, they're lucky to be employed if they are fucking mowing Tony's lawn on Saturdays.
Seriously, we're talking about contracts. Mercedes and Okada, here they are in the same segment, a terrible segment, a Vince McMahon WWE Raw-esque segment.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel like it belongs in 2024. And these 2 are making, more than almost any wrestler in that company. So it's crazy.
Well, speaking of crazy, let's see, just real briefly, Maria May decided she wasn't going to do her title celebration in this crummy town. And in the parking garage, the Grizzly Veterans and the Buckaroos argued with each other.
Oh my God, did you watch this?
Yes.
Okay, good. And the promo afterwards?
Well, afterwards, I've written down Ricochet and Felcher. Oh. Did I miss something afterwards?
No, they show the video of the Bucks and the Grizzled Young Veterans interacting backstage at Wembley, and then they cut to a new promo with the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Where
they say the same catchphrase that doesn't sound good twice.
Yes, but also, well, that's the least of their problems. First of all, you got the Buckaroos. They're the highest paid tag team in the history of wrestling from what they've said from their own chicken lips. And all they do is show up to natter at people backstage for about 1.5 minutes in a pre-tape. And secondly, the Grizzly Veterans look like goddamn homeless people. If you took a picture of them, their faces, and they weren't in wrestling gear, they're just T-shirts and sweatpants, and you put it on the local 6 o'clock news and said 2 homeless people arrested for living in a box under the overpass, nobody'd know the difference. It wouldn't look out of place. And they're...
Did you get their catchphrase?
What was it? I didn't write it down.
This is what made me laugh. They say it when they walk away from the Bucks, and then they cut to them in, I guess, what's supposed to be real time, and they say it again, and it doesn't work either time. If you see us, grit your teeth. That's the worst catchphrase I've ever heard.
Yeah. Well,
and they did it twice.
And that's the thing. It was confusing because there was no real identification of the pre-tape from last week versus then they're coming back to comment again. Nevertheless, what the fuck, right? Just what the fuck. And I get that's so the Buckaroos can have somebody to beat up from now on, I guess. Is that why they're bringing them in?
Why? Or they're going to work with FTR. Remember, they attacked FTR.
Well, that was just to get the Buckaroos' attention, I'm sure. Anyway, the main event, not the last segment, but the main event of this program was the TV debut, not pay-per-view, but the TV debut of Ricochet in AEW against Kyle Felcher with his manager, Don Fallis. And I've got to say again, Kyle is trying. You can tell he's putting effort in. Conditioning, his body looks better. His gear is clean. He's got an outfit. He's trying the new fancier haircut. He's got a tan. He's trying. But they keep beating him. And then, didn't he just switch babyface in the deal with Ospreay and MJF? Just 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, right?
Well, kind of. He was presented as the babyface, but Don Callis is still his manager.
But Don Callis is a babyface because every time somebody asks to be out of his group, he benevolently agrees.
But he also has a screwdriver that he stabs people with.
No, he hands it to other people so they can decide whether to stab him or not.
So he's an accomplice. But anyway, yeah, I get your point.
Okay, so Kyle switched babyface a couple weeks ago, got shit kicked out of him in Ospreay's fucking stead. That's my best friend there, mate. And now he's a heel against the new hot babyface that they've signed for who knows how many millions of dollars. Let's just be honest now. Cat's out of the bag. Tony's giving these guys a fucking fortune. So Ricochet's a babyface, and now Kyle is a heel with a heel manager, but he still never wins. And I wrote at the top, he's going to get smashed again here because it's Ricochet's TV debut. Well, that was incorrect. Ricochet won this by the skin of his fucking teeth.
And again, this one went a while too.
Oh, God, yes. And again, both of these things can be true. Kyle can be a wonderful young talent that you want to bring along and give a little push to, and Ricochet can be the big new signing and needs to make a splash on television. Just don't book this match this week. If you can't give Ricochet somebody that he can beat definitively in his first appearance on television in 8 minutes, you're a fucking lunatic. And that should have been the instruction to the guy. Go out there, do some of your shit, let the guy cut you off, get a little steam on you, make a comeback, beat him with your finish. Give me 7 or 8 minutes. That's all you needed. Don't make it the main event. It's the first time he's been on television for you. It doesn't have to be the main event. If you want to take care of Kyle, don't book him with a guy that needs to beat somebody clean in 8 fucking minutes. And both guys are in shape. They're both athletic. It was aggressive parkour very quickly, but at least they're crisp with it. It's not the awkward, just indie bullshit that they're high-level athletes doing phony wrestling. But I couldn't tell which one they were pushing. And finally, Ricochet makes a comeback, and he made his comeback and then didn't beat him. Felcher took back over. And then there was some more flipping, and then Ricochet hit a dive on the floor, and then they had to talk to each other, and then the fans were silent, and then Ricochet went for a splash, and Kyle raised his boots and gave Ricochet a brainbuster and got a 2 count. I mean, they've changed the goddamn momentum again. What the fuck in his debut? And then Kyle beat him up some more. And then Ricochet fought back, hit a Death Valley driver 2 count. I mean, what the fuck? And then he hit some kind of goddamn move, 1, 2, 3. So I don't know how that they've been allowed to convince themselves that that's the way you debut a new star on television against a guy who, to my knowledge, has not won a match on television. Has he? I'm willing to be corrected. Has he won one? Felcher?
I don't recall if we've seen him get a pinfall on TV or anything.
So then Ospreay came out, and he's about to talk when suddenly Pac runs out from behind and gives him a reverse Hurricane Rana headfirst on the fucking stage and knocks him out colder than a banker's heart. And then Pac cuts a heel promo and says that Ospreay belongs to him. So Ricochet should not... I don't know who he's telling to do what to who. Just Ricochet should stay out. Ricochet should stay out of the way. Okay?
He wasn't getting in the way.
I don't know. But now Pac is partners as the six-man tag team champions with Claudio and Useless, who are baby faces because they were wrestling other heels. But Pac is a heel that hates Ospreay, who's a baby face, who's best friends with Felcher, that's a heel, who just got beat by the new baby face that Pac is telling to stay out of his way. You got that?
All right, well, let's, we still had more. That was the main event, but that was not the final segment on this.
And no, it was.
Sure.
We got two more things to happen, and you're going to have to help me on one of them. But in the back, suddenly we see the plumber. Moxley still hanging around an hour and a half after we saw him. He sees a couple of guys, the security guys or whatever, sitting there. And I couldn't understand what he mumbled something to them. And then a girl came in, you saw from the back, and beat them up, these two security guys. And another security guard sees her and comes up, ma'am, you're going to, and gets judo throwed. Well, it's Marina Shafir. And then just to make sure we know not to take it seriously, another guard runs around and looks up and says, hey, you guys are going to, never mind, and turns around and runs away. And then she shoved the cameraman down with the handheld camera, and it was fake as shit, and then she and Moxley walk out together. So who was the girl in the movie that he's ripping off?
I don't know, but it's like he looked at his previous gimmick. It was like, how can I become more badass? Just walk around and beat up security guards with Marina Shafir. They don't know her.
Well, but she's going to have to do some of the lines from the movie, right?
Who else is going to join? Where's Dabo Kato? If Shane McMahon's going to be involved in this, we'll know because Dabo Kato will be there.
Why did people tie Shane McMahon to the plumber and Marina Shafir?
I think they tied him to the plumber, well, John Moxley, because of the promo saying this is not your company anymore, before they realized he was just stealing it from a movie, thinking, you know, it's kind of like Scott Hall showing up on Nitro and saying that things are going to change.
Yeah.
Although, you know, it's not exactly
only
like
it's
that.
not like that in any way, because that drew money. But also,
he walked through a full house to get to the ring that night.
Yes. And besides that,
he didn't wear green pants.
Is the guy in the guy in the movie, did he take over somebody's company? Did he purchase something? What did he do? What can we expect from this angle based on, well, you've never seen the movie. Folks, if you've seen this rotten fucking outlaw movie that Moxley's trying to steal from now, what was it? Humpty Dumpty?
That's what I'm trying to look up because I remember it was like a Shifty Wifty or something.
Romper Room.
Romper Stomper.
Romper, if you've seen this movie, just tell us what Moxley's going to be doing for an angle for the next couple of months or whatever. If, you know, what did this guy in the movie do? And who is Marina Shafir playing?
Romper Stomper. Let's see what this movie is real quick. Romper Stomper.
Oh, you're going to Google it?
It's a 1992 Australian drama film. It tells the story of the exploits and downfall of a neo-Nazi group in blue-collar suburban Melbourne.
Oh, well, that'll get over good once they figure out that he's doing a neo-fucking-Nazi. What? What?
I know what will make me the ultimate badass. Renee, you're blonde. It'll work.
So the synopsis continues?
Well, then that was just the opening, the plot. A gang of violent young neo-Nazi skinheads attacked 3 Vietnamese Australian teenagers in a tunnel, brutally beating 2 of them. The gang is led by Hando, that's the Russell Crowe character.
Handjob.
A violent, reckless, and unpredictable psychopath with strong white nationalist beliefs and homicidal tendencies.
Well, there's either something that Moxley imagines himself to be, fantasizes himself to be, all except the, I don't know about the neo-Nazi part, but he fantasizes himself as violent and badass and tough and homicidal and suicidal and...
With his friend... and
pesticidal.
His friend and second in command, the quiet, reserved, but similarly violent Davey. At their local pub, Hando and Davey meet Gabrielle, who suffers from poorly controlled epilepsy, the day after her sexually abusive, affluent father, Martin, has her junkie boyfriend arrested.
Good Lord, what a... These are Moxley's kind of people. Is Nick Gage going to pop in sometime soon?
Gabrielle begins a romantic relationship with Hando, which, despite a strong start, quickly becomes dysfunctional as he becomes...
I thought those kids were going to make it.
Do you want me to go to the end, or you want me to leave it there?
Sure, go to the end.
Let me go to the very end. Oh, the morning after. What led to the agitated...
Oh, the morning after. What was the night before?
Agitated by Gabrielle's criticism of the poor outcome of the robbery and their living conditions, Hando abruptly hits, berates, dumps, and then evicts her. Davey, unable...
Well, fuck, hey, Marina, watch out. That's your future.
Davey, unable to tolerate the excess violence and Hando's cruel and unpredictable nature any further, declares his departure from the gang and gives Gabrielle his German grandmother's address, where he will be staying.
So you're saying Davey wasn't even there?
Gabrielle informs the police of the gang's location and spends the night with Davey, where they confess their feelings for one another. Davey also reveals his doubts about his violent lifestyle. Okay, I've had enough of reading this, but if this is where we're going, this is not good. And we already saw that they're willing to just take shit out of movies with the Mariah May, Tony Storm stuff.
But why would you take something out of this movie? And what is he going to do, the neo-Nazi light, where he's violent and homicidal and crazy, but he's just not a Nazi?
I'm Neo Moxley.
Oh,
I am the Neo Moxley. Tell him, Marina. You're good on the mic.
And she would say, I don't know you.
Well, listen, these crazy kids, when they're not beating up the people in the back, they obviously may not be ingesting the best things. Maybe they need some of the right things to ingest, some of the right ingredients, some of the right... What exactly do we say? Some of the right seed, I guess we should say.
They need to get their intestinal fortitude in order, is what they need to do. It's been a while since we've talked about our friends at Seed. We want to bring the younger, newer listeners up to date. Seed is a fine group of people that are going to help you with your gut health, because, Brian, your gut is a central hub for various pathways through the body. And a healthy gut microbiome means benefits for digestion, skin health, heart health, your immune system, and so much more. You can be less sick. You can be shinier. Your heart can be free again and full of life. And you can digest all that gas station garbage that you eat under normal circumstances when you're going about your daily life. If you use the incredible Seeds DS-01 Daily Synbiotic. The biotics, we talked about them.
Yeah.
There's different kinds of biotics, because you got probiotics and you got antibiotics, right? Some biotics are good, And some biotics are bad. That's why sometimes you're probiotic and sometimes you're antibiotic. Now, the bad biotics are called the damaging biotics or dambiotics, but the healthy biotics are the hellbiotics. So you want to be probiotic of the hellbiotics, but you want to be antibiotic of the dambiotics. Now, see, that's clear, isn't it? It just follow the science. And the folks at Seed, they have the patented capsule-in-capsule design because you're going to be taking 24 strains of bacteria all in this capsule, and you're going to put it into your gut, and it's going to survive that journey. That's right. They open up the pathways through the gut, the yellow brick road, where it will lead you to the better digestion and skin health and heart health and immune system and so much more that people find, that improves with Seed. And also, the big thing is, Brian, of course, courage.
What?
If you take Seed regularly, it'll give you courage. Because what's one of the oldest sayings in the world? Come on and do something about it if you've got the guts.
Right.
Well, if you've got poor gut health, you don't have the guts to do anything about it. But if you take Seed's DS01 Daily Synbiotic to benefit your gut and skin and heart health in just 2 capsules a day, and you've got better guts, then you will be able to do something about it. And that will give you courage. Because if you have no guts, then you're just a simpering weasel cowering in a corner. But when you take Seed, you're going to go out down the street, you're going to put your foot up somebody's ass if they cross you sideways, because you've got courage. You're going to climb that hill and plant that flag, because you've got courage. You're going to whip that bully and knock him out and put your foot in his balls as you stand over him and let his girlfriend blow you, because you've got courage.
Well, again, none of these are guarantees if you have gut health, but gut health is important, and I guess you can't have guts without gut health.
Well, exactly. There you go. Once again, follow the science, ladies and gentlemen. And right now, you can support your gut this summer with these 2 capsules a day. You work it into your daily routine. It's not like you're drinking castor oil, and it's going to help a variety of parts of your body. But all these bacteria strains will survive the journey into your digestion. And there's no synthetic or chemical coatings on these pills, no refrigeration needed. Why, you can just take this stuff at room temperature, and boom, and regularity? You might be almost unstoppable. So right now, support your gut this summer because your gut supports you with Seed's DS01 Daily Synbiotic by going to Seed. And they haven't gone to Seed, by the way, as a company. They've prospered. Go to seed.com/JCE and use the code 25JCE, and you're going to get 25% off your first month's Seed Synbiotic. See, there's another kind of probiotic, antibiotic, synbiotic. You got to watch your biotics, ladies and gentlemen. 25% off your first month, seed.com/JCE with the code 25JCE.
Well, certainly a lot of seeds planted for future episodes of Dynamite on this week's episode of Dynamite, but there's one more segment to go, and it was the big main event, or the big final segment.
The big final segment, and it was the new AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson going to the ring to tumultuous applause from however many people were there in that giant cavernous arena. But he woke them up, and they like him, and they chant, "You deserve it," and yes, and the whole thing. And he starts real babyface, and he said, my daughter said, "Daddy, this was the best day of my life," when he won the title. And then my DVR froze. I forgot to record Modern Family, and we were at 10 o'clock, and I have no idea, because yesterday was Stacy's birthday, and I did not seek out the information, what he said or did after that. Can you Help fill in the blanks.
He kind of said what we thought, well, what we talked about as an option during the review of the pay-per-view match. He is going to retire as a full-time wrestler. He's right now working without a contract, but he's not going to give up the championship. So he's going to wrestle until someone actually defeats him for the championship. And then he's going to go home to his kids who had such a great time that they still want him to come home as soon as he can.
Yeah, it was the greatest day of our life, but don't do that anymore.
We both, his day too. I think he said it was the best day of his life too. So two members of the family had the same reaction. They both said, all right, it's time to end this. I guess you leave on top, very much like Seinfeld or the Beatles. But at that point on the video screen, his next challenger appeared, Jack Perry.
Oh, God damn it.
And Jack Perry was giving a very performance-based performance. I don't know, what do you say? A very actory performance, a very I don't believe you performance, a very this is ridiculous performance.
A very self-aggrandizing, dramatic portrayal of a wrestler, but not actually being one.
Yeah, very much like, why, Tony, are you still doing this? And then while the video is going on, he shows up in the ring behind Danielson and attacks Danielson.
Well, we've never seen that before.
So that's our next thing for All Out, apparently. It will be Bryan Danielson versus Jack Perry.
Christ on a cracker. Well,
and someone wrote, and I can't unsee it now, someone wrote that he has T-Rex arms. And I know he's not a big overall, but now I can't unsee it. I can't take him seriously at all.
Well, also, Birdie won't, it looks like she's not going to get Daddy home as early as she thought, because yeah. Jack Perry ain't winning that title 2 weeks later, so good God.
What are your thoughts on, and we've seen examples of it before, or it was supposed to be that way before. I remember Ric Flair in WWF, the idea that I'm going to keep wrestling until I lose. Do you think it's a strong thing to use as a promotional tool, as a booking tool?
Well, yet now they're trying to make something out of what everybody already knows to be true. So that's not bad, in that Bryan Danielson is going to retire at some point imminently, that he does have a bad neck, that his family wants him to come home, but now he's got the title. So every match will theoretically would be important, because this could be it. The jig could be up, but Jack fucking Perry to start out with, isn't that? It's kind of like a fucking gimme. They wouldn't be that stupid, would they? To do all this just for Jack fucking Perry?
We don't know what direction they're going in past this point, but we're talking about a pay-per-view in 2 weeks. Now, although the Hangman Adam Page Swerve thing has a long backstory, if you were going to do a kind of a rush program just to have a pay-per-view main event, would that justify this?
At this point, why risk Danielson's tenuous health for a match that is not going to really sell any extra tickets? Because he really, if it was a work, fine, but he really is kind of fucked up. So why take any chances just for... I'm sure he wants to have a wonderful match with Jungle Jackoff and elevate him in the eyes of the beholders.
And by the way, it may not happen. It shouldn't happen. I don't think it'll happen, but don't think it's too crazy for Tony to put the belt on someone like Jack Perry. He took a beating from Jack Perry. And Jack Perry, nothing ever happened. He beat up the boss of the company, and that was it. There was no comeuppance.
Well,
and then he lost War Games by someone else giving up for him.
The comeuppance may be when they get the year-end financial statement, but so again, the world champion is wrestling Jack Perry. The biggest proven ratings draw in the company, MJF, is wrestling Danny Garcia. Yes, you should pick young wrestlers to push them and get them over and put them in main event spots, but not ones that are obviously for different but pretty much apparent reasons not ready for it, or not going to be able to carry the ball if you hand it to them. While you gloss over many over the past 5 years that maybe could have done something if they had half of a legitimate chance. So it's just, but who's friends with the Buckaroos?
Well, that was AEW Dynamite from Champagne. Maybe they were drinking the champagne. But Jim, let's talk about some ratings.
As Mama Cornette used to say, they've got a champagne taste and a beer pocketbook. But in this case, it's the other way around. They got the money to buy all the champagne they want, but they're just chugging this cheap beer.
All right, hold on while I pull this up, because apparently there is an update to the numbers.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Is it like hotel points now where Tony's able to buy some with his credit card points?
I don't think it's that, but we have something here from WrestleNomics, an update. Due to a Nielsen reporting error, the viewership data for this episode of Dynamite has been corrected. The error occurred because Warner Brothers Discovery mistakenly designated that Dynamite ended at 10:09 p.m. Instead of its actual time of 10:06 p.m. As a result, viewership data for the 3 minutes of Modern Family that followed Dynamite was incorrectly included in Dynamite's average. The corrected, slightly higher viewership figures are as follows. And Jim, AEW Dynamite, August 28th on TBS, 8 to 10:06 p.m., on average was watched by 697,000 viewers.
Wait a minute, that was corrected upward?
It was previously reported at 691.
Jeez, oh, Pete. All right. Well, you know, it seems like every year they get in a groove where they do numbers similar pretty much every week, but every year the beginning number drops one. They used to do 800 and something thousand, and the next year they did 700 and something thousand. Now they're doing 600 and something thousand. But where did we start and where did we wind up?
Well, we'll go to this. This was compiled by WrestleNomics. Quarter 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m. The Jon Moxley live promo. The Conglomeration. Willow Nightingale Hook backstage promo. And the start of Tomohiro Ishii versus Hangman Adam Page with picture-in-picture. 765,000 viewers.
Ouch, okay. They started much lower than normal. So this would indicate that they're not going to lose the percentage of their audience they did last week because they're starting at a lower spot to begin with.
Well, we go to quarter 2, 8:15, 8:30 p.m., the continuation of Ishii versus Page with picture-in-picture ads and the post-match with Swerve Strickland. 712,000 viewers.
Okay, so they only lost 53,000. Last week it was in triple digits. These people they should have sent these people over the Oregon Trail. They're a hardy breed that stuck around for that thing.
Well, we continue down that trail into quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland's live promo continued. An ad break. And Jamie Hayter versus Harley Cameron. 706,000 viewers.
Well, that's within, a normal fluctuation. Only 6,000 more people. They ought to consider that a gift.
We go now to quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m. The Learning Tree Roderick Strong backstage promo, an ad break, the All-In recap, and the MJF Daniel Garcia live angle. 687,000 viewers.
Oh, and that's what I'm saying. There's MJF doing his deal, and they put it right behind Jericho and that mess who had run off another 19,000 people. So, and then they, at 9 o'clock, they go through a ridiculous parade of entrances of bleh talent. Where did they go at 9 o'clock? Up or down?
Well, the big 9 o'clock hour, quarter 5, 9 to 9:15 p.m. The Ricochet video, Roderick Strong and the Learning Tree versus Hook and the Conglomeration, with picture-in-picture, 698,000 viewers.
Okay, so they got 11,000 back at the top of the hour, and that means that so far, for the first time that I can ever remember, we're 5 quarters in, and MJF has been in the lowest rated quarter because of where he was placed.
Well, we go now to quarter 6, 9:15 to 9:30 p.m. The continuation of that giant match with picture-in-picture ads. The post-match with the Undisputed Kingdom. The Mercedes Moné private party Camille Kazuchika Okada backstage party. And an ad break. 671,000 viewers.
And there went 27,000 after they'd gained 11. And looking at the average, I believe we're coming up on the edge of a fucking cliff, aren't we?
I don't know about a cliff this week. Quarter 7, 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. The Mariah May ramp promo. The Grizzled Young Veterans Young Bucks backstage angle. The Grizzled Young Veterans backstage promo. An ad break. A Konosuke Takeshita video. And Ricochet versus Kyle Fletcher, the start at least. 644,000 viewers.
Well, not as bad as I thought. I'm just trying to look and see what they'd have to do in this last one to make their average, and they might stay steady. Well, reveal the secret.
Quarter 8, and I remind you there's an overrun, although these overrun numbers may not be exactly accurate based on what I just read. But let's just do the quarter 8 here. 9:45 to 10 p.m. The continuation of Ricochet versus Kyle Fletcher with picture-in-picture ads. The post-match with Will Ospreay and Pac. The Jon Moxley Marina Shafir backstage angle. And the start of the Bryan Danielson live promo. 683,000 viewers.
Good Lord. Okay, they actually came back up to where Ricochet's, the bulk of his debut was only on the third lowest quarter hour of the show, the way they formatted this thing.
And for the record, the overrun listed here, which was still a 9-minute overrun, 10 to 10:09, but the show ended at 10:06, so this is not accurate. The Bryan Danielson Jack Perry live angle, 629,000 viewers.
Ouch, that would be hopefully not accurate.
It was on the way down there, but that wasn't as far as it actually went for AEW.
So taking that out, let's just go to the end of quarter 8. They only lost 82,000 people this week. So it was much more consistent than the last few weeks where they were down the hill, the slalom. Well, I guess it's the small victories, huh?
I mean, you just look for any signs of growth. That's the only thing you're not seeing. You're seeing signs of being able to maintain the base, but you're not seeing signs of growth. But we shall see what happens. That's AEW Dynamite, or at least the ratings of them.
It certainly is and was.